Welcome to another video tutorial. In this video tutorial we are going to introduce Amazon Web Services AWS Elastic Compute Cloud EC2. We are going to launch virtual machine instance in the Amazon cloud, and then we are going to configure access to it via SSH secure shell protocol. My name is Nebojša Bačin-Đakula, PhD. This video is not for commercial purposes. This video is intended only for the students of Singidunum University. Before we start creating our virtual machine, we will introduce some basic terminology and the features of Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud. So, Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud, or EC2, is just one service that is offered by the Amazon Web Services AWS. Elastic Compute Cloud uses some terminology that we should all know. First, virtual computing environments are known as instances, so we call our virtual machine in the Amazon Cloud instances. Amazon Cloud offers pre-configured templates for virtual instances, and these templates are known as AMI, Amazon Machine Images. These images include the operating system and the additional software. You will see Amazon offers a wide variety of different AMI that you could use. Then, Amazon also uses a term instance types. Instance types are various configurations of CPU, memory, storage, and networking capacity for virtual instances. So we can create virtual machines with different computing, storage, and other computing resources. Then Amazon offers secure login information for our instances using key pairs. So in order to create a connection to our virtual machine in the Amazon cloud, we need security key pairs where the public key is stored on AWS server, while the private key is secured in our own location, in our own machine that we use to connect to the Amazon. We'll see that in action soon. EC2 offers two types of storage volumes. First type is instance store volumes. Instance store volumes are used for temporary data, and this data is deleted when we stop or terminate our virtual machines or instances. The second type of storage is Elastic Block Store, or Amazon EBS. This type of storage is persistent. So when we stop or terminate our virtual machine, the data we put on this storage remains intact. Multiple physical locations for our resources, such as instances and Amazon EBS volumes, are known as regions and availability zones. So we can store our computer resources in different physical locations. Then Amazon EC2 offers a firewall that enables us to specify the protocols, ports, and source IP ranges that we can reach our instances using security groups. We'll also see this in action. Then Amazon offers static IPv4 addresses for dynamic cloud computing, and these IPv4 addresses are known as elastic IP addresses. Then when we create our virtual instance, we can store metadata, and this metadata is known as tags. We can assign tags to virtual machines and every other computer resources in the Amazon. And finally, in the Amazon cloud, we can create something called VPCs, virtual private clouds, that can be very useful if we want to logically separate our cloud resources. Now, when we introduced basic Amazon AWS terminology, we can start actually creating our virtual instance. But first we have to create our Amazon account. So let's get started. Okay, so in order to start using Amazon AWS, Amazon Web Services, first we need to go to the so-called Amazon console. So in Google we type, for example, AWS console, and we go to this very first link, AWS Management Console. Okay, so we can create an account, and then we can get so-called free Amazon free tier. So we can get a trial period where we can create our virtual machines for free. But with this trial, we can only use certain instance types, but that's more than enough for this video tutorial and for educational purposes. So first we have to go here, create an AWS account. Then we should type our email address, our password, and then AWS account name. For example, I write my own name. When we type in this information, we click continue, and it says that my account already exists, so I'm going to use, let me say, another account. Okay. Oh, this email also exists. Okay, then I'll use my third account. Okay, so, and here we should put some basic information. First, we have to choose account type. We'll say it's personal account. We'll, let me say, put some kind of phone number. Okay, this is of course just a test number. We should choose our country and region, our address, our city, and postal code. Of course, we should check here to indicate that we have read and agree to the terms of AWS customer agreement. Finally, we click create account and continue. Okay, so at this point, in order to get a free trial period, we should add our credit card. And when we add our credit card, the system will check whether this card is valid by charging our card for a relatively small amount, and then we will get our money back. So this amount of money is negligible. And then we will get our trial period. So now I will have to enter my credit card details. But I won't be doing this. This is what you will have to do if you want to get a free trial period. I already have my account, so I'm going to Amazon Web Services.amazon.com. Okay, and so I'm just going to sign in. Okay, right now I'm going back, and then going here, AWS Amazon.com. For example, my account, AWS Management Console. and I'm going to sign in with my existing account where I added my credit card number and I got a free trial period. So if you want to get this, as I've already said, you just have to put in your credit card details and you'll get this free tier, so-called free tier, so you can use your virtual machine instance for free for a certain number of hours. So I'm going to sign in with my account, for which I've already entered credit card details. Okay. So I've logged to my account. Okay, so this is my account, and here, if we go here to services, we can see all AWS services. So we can deal with many services like AWS organizations, AWS single sign-on. Then we can deal with VPC, virtual private clouds, CloudFront technology. Then we can use many kind of relational database systems in the cloud, and so on, so on. So we have a wide variety of services on Amazon AWS, but for this purpose, in this video tutorial, we're going to use EC2 Elastic Compute Cloud. This is a service where we can rent virtual machines and customize it with AMIs, Amazon Machine Images, as I mentioned already in the introduction of this video. So I'm going to choose EC2 Elastic Compute Cloud. And here we can create, launch, and personalize our virtual machine instance. We can do it in different ways. So we can do it by this user-friendly graphical user interface that Amazon provides, or we can use APIs. But in this tutorial, we are going to use this user interface of Amazon. So here we see that currently on my account I have 0 running instances. I have 9 volumes and 7 key pairs for secure connection to my virtual machines. Okay, so here in this top right corner we can choose our region. So Amazon groups its resources in regions. So as you can see, US West Oregon regions is currently selected. It is the best practice to use to select the region that is closest to our location, current location. So currently I'm in Serbia, so it would be the best if I choose, for example, Frankfurt as my region. But for this tutorial I'm going to leave here US West Oregon. Okay, I'm going to leave here this. So when I confirm my region, I click on this button, launch instance, and now we will start the wizard for the purpose of creation of our virtual machine, or as you recall, Amazon calls virtual machines instances. So we can launch our instance by clicking on this button. Okay, so this is the very first step. As I already mentioned in the introduction of this video, Amazon offers AMIs, Amazon Machine Images. These are pre-configured images with already installed operating systems and applications. So as you can see here, we can choose a wide variety of different images with both Linux and Windows operating system. And also we have some specialized images like Amazon RDS, Relational Database System, or we have Amazon Machine Images on Linux configured for deep learning purposes, and so on, so on. So we can choose a wide variety of these images. But Since this is just a free trial account, we have a limited functionality. So you see here, free tier eligible. So only images that are marked with this free tier eligible can be chosen in this situation. So we are pretty limited here, but it's more than enough for this video tutorial. There is also one more thing I want to emphasize. There are many untrusted images here. So how can we choose the image that we trust? For example, in this video tutorial we are going to use Ubuntu server operating system. So we are going to use Amazon machine image with pre-configured and pre-installed Ubuntu server. So we can go to sites like this. Okay, we can go here, cloud-images.ubuntu.com/locator/EC2. Okay, and on this site we can choose, so we can check image that is valid, and then we can use the AMI ID, Amazon Machine Image ID of this valid image, and search for it at the AWS Marketplace, and then we can actually install this image. So you remember that I've chosen Oregon region, and this region belongs to this availability zone called US West 2. So here I'm going to type US-West 2 to limit my search, to narrow my search. And now I'm going to search for Ubuntu server 1604 LTS long-term support. That's the image we're going to install on our virtual machine. Also, in this step, you should remember that from introduction of this video that Amazon uses two types of storage volumes. First is instance store, and this instance store is deleted when our virtual machine or instance is stopped or terminated. So when we stop our virtual machine, it just stops. We can reboot it later, and when we terminate this machine, the machine gets deleted from the Amazon cloud. So in the case of instance store, when you stop or terminate our machine, all the data gets lost. But in the case of EBS store, elastic block storage, when we stop our virtual machine, the data remains. So we want storage volume that saves our data. So we're going to use something like this. HVM hardware virtual machine, EBS elastic block store. That's kind of storage preserves the data when our machine stops, and SSD solid state drive. So I think this is a very good choice, and that's 1604 LTS Ubuntu server with HVM elastic block store SSD. And now we just have to copy this AMI ID. Just select it and right click and choose copy. Okay, I'm going to minimize this window now. So we've chosen our Amazon machine image. So here we go to AWS Marketplace, and here we paste this Amazon machine image ID that we've chosen and just click enter. And here we have this Ubuntu 16.04 LTS long-term support. That's the image we've chosen, and it's free tier eligible, so we can use it. It charges $0 per hour for software. Oh, that's excellent. So we're going to select this image. Now we've chosen a valid image. Okay, so we have here some details about this image. Okay, it's okay, and also some pricing things here, but we won't look at this now because we are in the free tier, so we just click continue. Okay, so now we've reached the step 2 of the wizard that guides us through the process of the creation of virtual instance. So we have here different instance types. Amazon offers a wide variety of instance types. Each instance type has a different type of CPU, memory, and network performance, etc., etc. So first instance type with the least computing power is T2 Nano. Then we have T2 Micro, T2 Small, and so on. And the very end of this list, we can see that we have extremely powerful machine types. Like, look at here, we have a 64 virtual CPUs with 688 gigabytes of memory with 8 times 1900 SSD storage with 25 gigabit Ethernet. Oh, this is really a powerful machine. So this is a real hyper-converged infrastructure machine that can run the whole corporate infrastructure. But for this, in this case, we are not going to use this machine, of course. In this case, since we use free tier account, we can use only this T2 Micro, which is free tier eligible. It has 1 virtual CPU and 1 gigabyte of memory with network performance low to moderate. But also we have, you see, IPv6 support. Okay, not bad. So we don't have other option here, so I'm going to select this machine and I'm going to click here, next, configure instance details. So here we can configure instance details of this virtual machine. So we have many different options here for virtual network, but for now we won't be bothering with this, because if we start doing this, you are going to close this video and to say I'm not dealing with Amazon anymore. I'm just kidding, of course, but really for now we're not going to touch anything here. Okay, so here we have first number of instances, and we have this option launch into auto scaling group. So we can choose this to launch into auto scaling group. So what does it mean? For example, in the real production environment, we would have more than 1 virtual machine. For example, we would have 2, 3, 4, and so on virtual machines for 1 cloud service. And we would configure these machines into 1 auto-scaling group. What does it mean? For example, if we have a web server, we would use 4 virtual machines to host this web server, and all these 4 virtual machines will be in 1 auto-scaling group. So for example, when we don't have so much traffic on our website, we will use only 1 machine, and then when the traffic increases in, let me say, peak hours, then the system will automatically activate 2, 3, and finally all 4 virtual machines in this auto-scaling group. And then when the traffic gets low again, it will shut down 3 machines and only 1 machine will remain. So it is very good, because Amazon's charges on pay-as-you-go basics. So that means we pay for the resources, we pay how much we are going to pay depends on the resources that we use. For example, if we use 1 hour, we will pay for 1 hour. If our machines runs for 10 hours, we will pay for 10 hours, and so on, so on. So this is This auto-scaling group really offers some good benefits, but for this we are going to use only one machine, okay? So we are not going to configure network and so on. Then we have something like shutdown behavior. So what is going to happen if we shut down our machine? So by default here is chosen stop. So when we shut down our machine, the machine will stop. Also we have other options, terminate. So if we shut down our machine, the machine will terminate. So this machine will be deleted. So we will choose stop. Also here we have enable CloudWatch detailed monitoring. So Amazon offers CloudWatch. That means that we can look and watch our virtual machines, resource utilization, and many other things in real time. But as you can see, for this option additional charges apply, so I won't be selecting this option, okay? And this would be everything to emphasize in this step 3, configure instance details step of this wizard. Then we click here add storage. Sorry, one more thing. I don't know why this error occurs. It is the first time. It's probably something with the Amazon server. Okay, but we will ignore this and go here next, add storage. Okay, now we can choose how much disk space do we use. We use EBS elastic block storage, and our device will be here /dev/SDA1, so it is good. I leave 8 gigabytes because this is enough for these purposes. And then in this step we can add tags. So as I already mentioned in the introduction of this video, we can add tags to our cloud resources. Tags are simple metadata about the resources, so in the future we can easily find our resources. I'm going to add tag like key value. I just put Singidunum, or I just put for the key item name, and the value will be Singidunum_University. Okay, that's good for now. And finally we go here next, configure security groups. So security group, okay, we can select existing or create a new security group. So for this purpose, security groups are not important for us, but basically if we would have a real production environment in the cloud, and for example if we have, I don't know, 5 virtual machines running web server, and I don't know, 5 virtual machines running some other services like DNS and FTP services, we would for each group of services create a separate security group. So we would create one security group for web servers and one security group for the DNS servers. So then when our admin tries to log in, admin will belong, for example, if he is admin of web service, he will belong to the web service security group. So with only one set of credentials, this admin would be able to log in to each of our web servers in this security group. But for now I'll just put Singidunum University, and this is the description. I'll just say this group is for educational purposes. Okay, and also here in this tab we have our firewall. So Amazon offers a firewall. So here we can create inbound rules, and you see here by default SSH secure shell traffic is allowed, and we are going to use SSH protocol because we will use SSH protocol to connect to our virtual machine instance. And as we know, SSH uses TCP/IP transport protocol, and it uses port 22. And now we can choose from which source, so from which IP address or range of IP addresses we can connect to our virtual machine. I'll leave for now from anywhere. So that means we can connect to our virtual machine via SSH protocol from any IP address we want. So from any location in the world Of course, we can just put like my IP and connect only from my current IP, but I'm going to put from anywhere. And this 0.0.0.0/0, that means allow connection from any IP address either. And here description for this inbound rule is needed. I'll just put SSH access. Okay. And then of course we can add many other rules. For example, if we want to implement a web server on our machine, or for example if we want to implement a WordPress site on or some other service like DNS or something else, we can here allow some other traffic. For example, I can allow, let me say, HTTPS. It uses TCP port 443, and I'll also allow access from anywhere, and I'm going to put here like HTTPS access. Okay, so that would be all for the firewall. And finally we go here, review and launch. So here it says our software fees is $0 per hour. Oh, that's good, because it's free tier eligible. We are using Elastic Block Store, 1 CPU, T2 micro instance. That's okay, that's all we're choosing. And here the open ports on our firewall rules. So here we have access from IPv4 address, and here we have access from any IPv4 address, and so on and so on. Then we can review instance details, storage, tags, and all things we've configured so far. Okay, I suppose everything is okay. So we are ready to roll, and we're going to click here on this launch button to launch our virtual machine. But before, we need to create key pair. So this key pair is used to access our virtual machine. So we're going to choose create a new key pair, and we're going to choose the name. I'll just put Singidunum University. So this is key pair that consists of public and private key. So as I already mentioned, this key pair is used to connect to our virtual machine. The public key will be stored on Amazon AWS, while private key will be stored in our local location. And also I suggest you that you keep this private key on secret place, especially if you're going to use Amazon for production environment. So be careful about this. And then we are going just to click download this key pair. Okay, so that's the only time we are actually able to download this. So when I download this, and then when you download this key pair, please put this key on the safe location. Okay, I'm going to download this key pair. So I've created my key pair and chose the name Singidunum University. Okay, and I hit download, and my key pair is downloaded. So it's with the PEM extension. I'm going to cut my key and to paste it on the desk. So that's my key, and I'm going to save it on the secret place, secret location. Okay, and finally, now we click on this button, launch instances, and now we are going to wait for a couple of minutes till our instance is configured and till security group is created, inbound firewall rules are applied, and while our virtual machine instance is initiated. So I'm going to pause this video and come back when this is finished. Okay, so I'm back. So it states here that my instances are now launching, and I can go here to see view instances. So my instances are being loaded. Okay, we should wait for a couple of moments. Okay, so here you see that I have many instances, and all my instances are stopped. But this instance that I'm just creating is in the state of running. That means it's up and running, it's online, it's in the US West 2B region, it's type T2 micro, and name is here Singidunum University, and so on. So what we need from here, we need this. Here we have a public DNS name for our machine, and also we have this public IPv4 address. So our instance gets public IP address, so we can use this address to access our web server on this machine, on every other server. So this is elastic dynamic Amazon's IP address that is provided to us. Okay, it's very nice, and we are going to use this address to connect to our virtual machine. Okay, so now when our machine is up and running, we can connect to it. There are a couple of ways to connect. So I already told you that we're going to use SSH, secure shell protocol, and for the connection purposes we can use, for example, some SSH clients like PuTTY or SCP, or we can connect from SSH terminal from Linux machine. So first we are going to use the PuTTY. Okay, we should first download the PuTTY. So I'm going to Google and say download PuTTY client. PuTTY is very famous client. It's used all around the world. We go here, putty.org. That's the best site for PuTTY. Then we click here, download PuTTY. And so here, as you can see, we have different versions. We have portable PuTTY, or we have a full PuTTY that must be installed on our Windows host, Windows machine. So since my operating system runs in 64 bits, I'm going to click here and download this PuTTY. But it's better to use this. Okay, so sorry, use this, because this is just MSI Windows installer version. So we have to install PuTTY. We should not use the portable version of the PuTTY, because when we install PuTTY, PuTTY comes with so-called PuTTY gen, and we're going to use this tool to generate our private key from this PEM file we've downloaded. So as you can see, I already have PuTTY installed here. So you guys just download this installer and install PuTTY. Okay, so here is my PM file. So dear students, in the next step you're going here, I'm just going to type in PuTTY and to choose this PuTTY gen. Then I choose here RSA algorithm. That's what this thing is using. I'm going to load my PEM file. Desktop, I'm going to choose all files and to choose this PEM file. And now, as you can see, successfully importing foreign key for open SSH connection. Okay, good. And finally, when I do this, I just have to save my private key. Click here. Without a passphrase. Okay, it is more secure if I enter here passphrase, but in this case I'm using this without passphrase. So you can enter passphrase in order to enhance the security, but for this purpose I'm not going to use passphrase. Okay, I click yes because I'm sure that I want to save this key without a passphrase. I said yes, and I call it like Singidunum University again, and here we have, you see, extension PPK. That stands for the private key. Okay, save. Okay, good. Now I'm going to close this PuTTY gen. So this is PEM key, and this is newly generated private key. So this private key we're going to use to connect to our virtual machine. So here I have public IP address for this machine. I'm going just to copy this, okay, select and hit Ctrl C on my keyboard, okay. Then I'm going here, put it, okay. So we are using port 22. As you remember, we created inbound firewall rule on Amazon firewall to enable connection, SSH connection through port 22. I'm going here to paste my public IP address, and then I'm going to tell the putty where my private key is. Okay, I'm going connection SSH out. Okay, so connection SSH out, and here you see private key file for authentication. I'm going to browse, and here I can find file with PPK extension. That's my private key. I'm just going to open and then to open it again. And now the putty terminal opens, and now the system says that the service host is not cached in the registry. You have no guarantee that the service is the computer you think it is, but we know that it's our machine, it's our connection, so I'm going to hit yes. And now we can log in. So in order to log into the virtual machine, you just type username, because this is Ubuntu distribution, just Ubuntu. That's username. And now authentication with our public key is performed, and here we are logged. So this is terminal to our virtual machine. So this is our Linux terminal, and then we can use this and to do whatever we like. We could deploy web server, we could install DNS server, configure mail server, and so on and so on. So we can do whatever we like with our machine. So you can see we are now in our home folder /home/Ubuntu, because we are currently logged as the Ubuntu user. So this is how we connect to our virtual instance by using putty. But for now on, I'm going to exit this terminal. And now I want you to show another way to connect from your Linux machine. If you have Linux, you can use Linux command SSH to connect to your virtual instance in Amazon Cloud. So here we have a virtual machine. On Cloud Server is the name of this machine. It's Ubuntu server machine 18.04 LTS, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to use this machine to connect to our Amazon web server instance. So first I want to copy this PEM key to this virtual machine. For this purpose, I'm going to use this also one SSH client software called WinSCP, and I'm going to just to put a host name. And if you watched one of the previous videos, you have seen how we configure this machine. We configure this machine in Ubuntu server in Oracle VirtualBox environment, where we forwarded SSH using port 1313, and to this machine we are using NAT, network address translator, network adapter. So first I want to use this client to connect to my virtual machine here. So I type this local backup address of the Windows host and the port 1313, and my username is Avasha, and I choose my password. I go login. Okay, yes, and I'm authenticated. So at this left side I can see files from my local Windows host computer, which is this computer I'm currently using, and here on the right I can see my home folder on this virtual Linux machine. So I'm just going here to my desktop, and here I have my PEM file. You see here, it's here, PEM. I'm just going to drag and drop this file to this Linux machine. So that's it. That's why I used SCP. We can use something like Samba and some other services, but for this purpose SCP perfectly did this job. So I'm going to minimize this window. Now I'm going to my virtual machine. Okay, so I'm going to my home folder, ls, and here's my PEM key. Okay, first I'm going to remove if I have SSH. Okay, good. Now in my home folder I'm going to create SSH folder. As you know, dot prefix means that this folder is hidden. Okay, so I'm going to copy this PEM file to SSH folder. So if I go to SSH folder and ls, here I have my PEM file. So in order to establish SSH connection to the remote Amazon virtual machine instance, first I have to set permissions of this PEM file. So I'm going to use something like this. I'm going to my home folder again. I'm going to use change mode command. I'm going to use permission 700 on SSH. Okay, and then we can check our permissions. So I'm going to ls -alh ssh. We just check our permissions, and so we see here that permissions are like read write owner, read write group, and read everyone. I'm going to create permissions a little bit more restrictive, so I'll change like change mode 600.ssh. Then I'm going to this folder. Okay, I cannot go it right now, but that's perfectly fine. Okay. Okay, so one more time. Okay, about these permissions, we need to set up these permissions correctly. So first ls -l. Okay, good. So I'm currently here, you see, in my SSH folder. So I'm going then to my home folder, pwd. Okay, very good. And here I have my Singidunum University.pem file. So if I go here, I also have this Singidunum University.pem file. So I'm going to do the following. First I'm going to do change mode 17.ssh. So I choose the permission set 700 for SSH folder. Then I'm going to use, in order to enhance security, change mode 600 SSH/Singidunum University.pem. So I'm going to use this 600 permissions for this Singidunum University.pem file, and then we are ready to connect. So we just type in, I'm going to clear the screen to see better. We're going to do the following: SSH minus, so minus for adding entities, but first I'm going to connect to it. I'm just going to type SSH, then I want to connect with this username Ubuntu @ and now we need public IP address of this virtual instance. So here I'm going to see my public IP address. It's this address at 34.209.61.150. Okay, then we are going to put -i, and then we are going to point our PEM key SSH/ and now we are connected. So we are connected. So this is our virtual Amazon machine. So ls pwd, okay, it config, for example, and here I can see my private IP address. So 172.31.17.58, that's the private IP address within the Amazon network. And now we can do anything we want. So if we want to exit this terminal connection, SSH connection to the Amazon virtual machine, just type exit. Okay, good. So when you connect from your local Linux machine to Amazon virtual instance, you need to set permissions for this SSH folder where you store your PEM file to 700, and then for the actual file set permission to 600, and this is going to work. And then just use SSH command with -i argument to point to a PEM key, and you can connect your virtual machine. So now we just want to close our virtual, or to stop our virtual machine. So I go here, I make sure this machine is selected, and go here to actions and choose this instance state, and I choose stop. Okay, we say yes, stop, and now our virtual machine, virtual instance is stopping. So if you use free tier, so if you are a free user like me in this case, make sure you stop your virtual machine when you finish working with it, because if the machine keeps running, it will eat all your free hours. So make sure you stop it. Okay, so that would be all. So in this video we have configured one virtual instance in Amazon Cloud, and then we connect to this instance first via PuTTY terminal client SSH program, and then with our SSH tool from Ubuntu Server Linux machine that was installed in the local virtualized environment in VirtualBox. So thank you for watching this video, and I hope you learned more about Amazon that you knew before you watched this video. Thank you.